world-renowned experts in the field in which they write. The majority are from the US, but increasingly we have authors from Europe and really all around the world. And if you were to do a search of who knows the most about that particular topic, our authors would always be out of very near to the top. So this is a truly authoritative work by world experts. And I would say even more now in current times, when you can look on the web and find almost anything, but have no idea whether it's true or not. The real virtue of our book is that you know it's true. It's not fake news. It is the best information you can get. And that's what makes the book so special. Edition has new chapters. The major new chapters in the current edition on the electronic version, to which people have access, is a chapter on coronavirus. We call it the post-2019 coronavirus. And that chapter, like the electronic book to which people have access if they buy the printed book, is continuously updated. So our book is a living text, print book, but also the electronic book being continuously updated. And I would say, as we go to the more recent editions, the 26th edition, the forthcoming 27th edition, that's what's really been the major change. The ability to update the book consistently on the electronic version so that it's always current, never behind. Videos, echocardiograms, for example, endoscopies, and another good example. But also we have links to the references. So Goldman-Cecil has two kinds of references. One are what we call grade A references. They are randomized trials or meta-analyses of randomized trials. So indisputable, firm evidence to back up what our authors recommend. And in the electronic version, you can click on that and get right to the article if you wish. We also have review articles. There are regular references, and they're accessible as well. So Goldman-Cecil is really not only a terrific book in its own, but also the way it links to these other sources and as part of the broader clinical key product of Elsevier. One of the key issues of Goldman-Cecil is that the information is presented in a clear and logical way. So for every key disease, we start off with the epidemiology, pathobiology, clinical manifestations, diagnosis, treatment, prevention, and prognosis. And the treatment sections are very clear. We have lots of algorithms that can tell you exactly what to do in different circumstances. So the concept here is that there's lots of information on lots and lots of conditions. But when you go in and want to find what to do for some particular problem, it's clear, it's precise, and easy to follow. When we mention a drug, we tell you the drug name, the dose, and how long to use it for. So in that regard, the book is encyclopedic and comprehensive, but also very practical and useful. I do the editing. So what you see has passed my personal review, if you will, looking to be sure that it's clear, it's precise, it's easy to use. And I use myself as sort of the generalist. I've got to be able to understand it. Our authors are experts. We want to make sure that their expertise is expressed and written in a way that a generalist physician can follow and use. And that's one of the great things about the book. It's really the expert and what they recommend, but then styled in a way that is usable and user-friendly. it really is an extraordinary effort. We have a co-editor for me for each edition. That person has varied over the years that I've been doing the book. For this 26th edition, it was my good friend Andy Schaefer, who's a hematologist oncologist. For the next edition, the 27th edition, will be Kathleen Cooney, who is an oncologist at Duke and chair of the Department of Medicine there. The associate editors were a wide range of very diverse people, a number of women co-editors. They choose the authors, and we vet the authors. Our authors are almost all full professors, or if not, they're well on their way to becoming a full professor. They don't have junior people who write the article for them, and they sort of kind of only look at it. They write the chapter. So we have this enormous roster, if you will, of people. Over 400 chapters. Many have two authors, so we're in the roughly 650, 700 different authors. I think the authors really take great pride in being part of the book and part of the Cecil team. And I communicate with many of them, and it's striking how many grew up with the book, remember reading the book, were given the book as a graduation present, and they take great pride in being part of this book and part of the family. So I think this really is a remarkable team effort. The paper edition can only be done periodically. So typically we do the paper edition every 4 years. We take great pride in it. I've got right here on my desk, here's the 26th edition. But books are harder and harder to carry around. There's some settings where it's easy to access a book. There are times when the digital product is much more practical, and that's why we have it. But even more importantly, we can update it. So I personally do updates at least 4 times a year to the book. Every chapter is updated at least once a year. And that electronic version gives us what I'll call the living book. The printed book is, we think, terrific, but you can only print the book so often, and it's not a practical means for the kind of important updates that we do. But each year we add thousands of new references. We add new information, as I said, literally to every chapter. I think for me, as for most people, the professional career is a little bit of planning and a lot of luck. I was asked to become one of the co-editors of Cecil 7 editions ago. It came as a total surprise. I found that I enjoyed it, and it's become a critical part now of me and my professional life. Some people said it's sort of like being a curator in a museum, only we're not dealing with old stuff, we're dealing with new stuff. So in a museum, a curator takes good care of and displays art, even if it's relatively modern art. It's not done yesterday. It's things that have been determined to be important and worth showing. In many ways, I'm a curator of new and evolving information, trying to help doctors every day know what's important and what's less important. And a big part of my job is to work with the authors to be sure that information is put in the proper perspective. Some new treatment comes along. Is it the best thing since sliced bread, or is it too early to know for sure exactly when to use it? What are the best approaches to a patient today? So I take great satisfaction being part of this. Not something I planned, but it's a real privilege for me to be the editor of this book and have my name on it. Behind our book is that we no longer think of it as a textbook. A textbook is something you use when you're in school and you read it once and you never really go back to it, except when you're maybe looking like an encyclopedia. This is different. This is a living entity, continuously updated, made for practical use. So I think our readers value the encyclopedic, authoritative nature of the book on the one hand. What they really want is something they can use on a regular basis. So we're glad this is on someone's shelf, but even more, we see it on someone's desk because they're using it on a regular basis, not just sticking it up on the shelf for show. It's a living product that they're using on a regular basis. And we feel very confident people who use Cecil regularly will be well versed in all things that they're responsible for, and it makes them a better doctor. From the German, and I can't really speak German, but it's something like Medicine, which in German meant scientific medicine. So the birth of internal medicine really is in Germany in the 19th century, when doctors and scientists begin to realize that the key to taking care of patients is not just the symptom, what the patient says they have, or the sign that you see, but what's causing it. Because the same symptom or sign could be caused by multiple different things. I use as an example, back in the 19th century, there was a condition called the dropsy. The dropsy. The dropsy meant your ankles were swollen. Well, your ankles can be swollen for lots of different reasons. It can be heart failure. It can be right-sided heart failure from lung disease. It can be kidney disease with glomerulonephritis and nephrotic syndrome. It can be liver disease. It can be venous disease. All sorts of things can cause the dropsy. You really can't treat someone with the dropsy unless you know what's causing it. The whole concept behind internal medicine was, let's find the root cause. Let's understand the biology, the pathobiology of what's going on. And so even today, that's why our chapters have that section on pathobiology. Not because we're trying to teach people all the science and gory detail, but because an understanding of what's going wrong physiologically, pathologically, is critical to understanding why the patient has the signs or symptoms, how to make the diagnosis, and how to treat it. And that's what makes this book different than, say, a cookbook of how to treat something. We have all that in here, but we also give you in a concise, hopefully very clear way, an understanding of the underlying processes that are so critical, and without which understanding, you really can't take the best care of patients. It'll make you better. It'll tell you the truth. It'll cut through all the chaff and give you the wheat. That's what it's all about.